Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Amy Cole Smith, Director of Diversity at the Institute, and welcome to today's BIIC Sponsor Spotlight. Today, we have Pamela Wheeler, who is the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer at NFP. Thank you so much for joining us today, Pamela, and welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. So can you please tell us about yourself and your role at NFP?
Sure. I am the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for NFP. I've been operating within the space of DEIB my entire career. However, I have done it in a different industry. So this is a complete industry change for me. I have been in the sports industry for the past 25 years. And so being in insurance and finance is a big difference for me. But I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing it someplace else. I'm creating spaces for diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, and operating and driving strategy across the enterprise-wide throughout the company. We're pretty decentralized organization, and our growth model has been through M&A, so that makes it a little bit challenging. But I came to NFP in August of 2021. And NFP was very much like most organizations, had some really good intentions, but recognized that they needed someone to come in and actually develop a vision for DEIB and then drive that vision. And so that's my role, and that's what I do.
Awesome. That's good to hear. And it's so awesome that you came from the sports world. That's very
good. Yeah.
So what made NFP decide to become one of the founding sponsors for BIIC?
So one of the things I really like about where we are right now in the DEIB journey is that we're much more collaborative than we were in the past. And so what we want to do is we want to create systems and cultures of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, not just within NFP, but throughout the industry. And so the fact that we are collaborating and also recognizing that our collective works are going to actually help us move the needle and not individually. And so definitely want to create spaces for all underrepresented communities, and that includes the Black community. And so that's why we joined as a founding member, because I think that individually, again, we can make a small impact, but we really want to impact the industry. And we want to create those systems and cultures within the industry that allow for underrepresented communities, underrepresented people to actually succeed and flourish. So that's why we joined.
That's good. And that definitely aligns with the vision and mission of BIIC. So NFP definitely got it right.
Yeah.
So how do you see the mission and work of BIIC influencing the insurance industry as a whole?
Well, one of the things that, all industries pretty much are suffering from the same thing, right? The reason why we all have jobs is because people recognize that there is a definite gap between where we want to be and where we are. And we didn't get here in a day, but it's going to take the collective works of all of us to help move the needle. And so creating those systems and cultures, again, within the industry is going to be paramount, and actually having a conversation about it. Insurance has been traditionally middle-aged white men, and no one has really talked about it that much up until 2020. People had ideas about it, and people were sort of like the 800-pound gorilla sitting in the room. Now people are like, okay, what are we going to do to change that? And how do we create opportunities and also become not only an employment destination, but really a place where people say, oh, there's no 8-year-old at home sitting going, when I grow up, I want to be an insurance person, right? There's nobody doing that. So we need to make insurance attractive. We need to make sure that people understand why you should be a part of the insurance industry, and indicate to Black people in particular, since we're talking about BIIC, that this is a place you should be. This is a place where you can be successful. And this is an industry now that is looking for ways to help you be successful. So I think that's the important part right now.
Absolutely. I agree with everything that you just said, and especially about the 8-year-old, because
there's not one person home right now going, when I grow up, I want to go into insurance, white or black, right? There's nobody doing that. And so we have to figure out a way to make this not only an employment destination, but also building up the enthusiasm for our clients.
yes,
right? Clients, suppliers. You don't want it to be a dentist experience, right? Where
right.
I gotta go to the dentist today because my tooth hurts. So, but you want to be like, oh, you want the insurance part of someone else's business to be just as vibrant and exciting as other areas of their business. And I think that's the thing that we're working towards. And I think that when I'm talking to students, when we're involved in BIIC, we are involved in some of our HBCU initiatives, even to have the conversations with the students now and them to say, I never really thought about it. I never really thought about risk management. I came from the sports industry. We have a pretty vibrant sports practice. And, I tell people all the time, like, people talk about these guaranteed contracts. Well, somebody's got to underwrite those, right? Someone on the back end, everyone's talking about guaranteed contracts that's underwriting them. There's someone who, when they were talking about building stadiums, someone's got to insure those. When you think about the leagues and the teams, they've got to have employees, they have to have benefits, and they have to have casualty insurance and all those things. These are things that are part of everyday life that people just generally don't think about. And so we just got to make it more attractive. And
right.
I'm finding that the students even are saying to me, I didn't really think about that. I didn't think about this as a career choice for me.
That's good. That's really, you just said a lot. That's good. That is really good. I appreciate that answer. So does NFP currently have any internal initiatives that focus solely on your Black workforce executives?
Yeah, so when I first came to NFP, there were 3 employee resource groups,
okay.
Black professionals, women, and family. And what we've done over the last year is we've evolved from employee resource groups to business resource groups. And so what we're doing is really trying to drive a lot of our initiatives through our business resource groups. And we're also approaching DEIB not just from the standpoint of altruism, but as a business imperative. How is this actually impacting our business? We're going to be better. We're going to have, we're going to increase our revenues. We're going to be able to expand into underrepresented markets where we haven't before. All those things that we know DEIB, the ROI of DEIB, right?
Right.
So one of the things that we're doing is really driving a lot of our initiatives, programming, and our systemic change, cultural change through our BRGs, and that includes our Black professional group. And so our Black professional resource group is doing a lot as it relates to, and what we've done also is have each of our BRGs establish goals and objectives based on their individual needs. And our Black professional resource group focuses a lot on, again, impacting the business and personal career development of our members. And so we're including a lot of programming where we're actually having our members of the BRG Black community actually serve as ambassadors for the company. So we're involved a lot more in actual talent acquisition, where they're working with the talent acquisition team, going out to seminars, to career fairs, and really focusing on representing the company, but actually serving as ambassadors for the company and actually telling the NFP story, why it's successful, why it's important to actually increase our workforce within the Black community. And then we're about to start an underrepresented mentorship program, which will be driven again through our business resource groups, including our Black professionals. So we have a number of programs that we also work with a number of our partners. So we are part of the BIIC, obviously, part of the FAIR Coalition, which was pretty much started by Nationwide. So a number of our young up-and-coming account managers and account executives are actually now getting out of the cubicle, if you will, and actually attending conferences and
Wow.
expanding their breadth. And so we're offering that. We're taking a number. We're taking about 8 Black women to the Black Enterprise Women of Power Summit. So we're trying to get people again out of the cubicle, out
Right.
expanding their own career development, and also focusing a lot on helping our employees, especially within the Black community, actually create cross-functional opportunities. So when you see something, if most people know if you're an account executive and you're a Black person in any company, pretty much, you're going to get siloed and you're not going to move, right? You're just going to, account executives is where you start and account executives is where you end, right? And so what we're doing is we're trying to work with our talent acquisition team with internal posting with any organization, because we all know that the people who ascend to leadership are people who understand the connectivity of all areas of a business and the cross-functional importance of departments and why sales and marketing and finance and technology and legal and how all those things work together. But unfortunately for Black people, what tends to happen, again, we get siloed. So we're really working to help people, learn another part of the business. Maybe you want to move into finance. Maybe you want to become a producer yourself. And so we're creating programming around that, helping some of our people actually, maybe move into the producer role, into the revenue generating side of the business. So those are the types of things that we're doing internally to really help our Black population to actually not just succeed internally, but impact the business as well.
That's really good. And I love that. What I love most about what you said was taking people out of the cubicles and giving them, a bit of that more professional and business side exposure. So that's really, I think that's really thinking forward about, we believe in you and we feel that, it's kind of like mentoring in a piece. So I appreciate that. That's really cool that you guys are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So what other DEI related initiatives is NFP currently implementing, either internally or externally?
So one of the things that is really important for us, like I mentioned earlier, our growth model has been via M&A. So in some ways, we're very decentralized and we have a number of arms around the globe. And so one of the things that I did when I first came in was figure out how can we systemically create an internal framework that works for us. So there was an advisory board. What we did was just add a little bit more meat to it. And so we established guidelines and goals and specific objectives and metrics for us to measure our success by the end of the year. And as a result of that, we then created regional and platform DEIB committees that actually the chairperson of each of those then has a seat automatically on our advisory board. And so that's really helped, one, to get people engaged in the process. And one of the things that I think that people have said to me since we started, a little over a year and a half ago, was that we've been able to bring people together and have them actually feel that sense of belonging. So that again, when you're in your own cubicle and you hear the CEO talking about DEIB, and you're like, how does this impact me? What does this have to do with me? I hear people in leadership talking about it, but I don't see how it impacts me. And so what we're really doing is trying to create, again, those systems and cultures throughout the organization where people actually feel DEIB at work in their individual roles within the organization. And so you're not actually just sitting there saying, how am I going to help this? But you're going to help that because if a client is actually saying, I want my account team to be more responsive, to be more innovative, to be all the things we know DEIB can be, that's going to make you feel like you're moving the needle. We're now having people be a part of RFPs when they weren't before, right? So people are now saying, I see. So when we get that business and we make the announcement that we got a piece of business and we have 2 people who've never been a part of the RFP process before actually see that come across the wire, then there's a sense of belonging there. There's a sense of, I'm helping to make this business profitable because I was a small part of that RFP process. And how do we get our professionals, again, out to our clients, part of their seminars, becoming sort of a thought leader, if you will, in the DEIB space. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to create ways for the employees to be more engaged and to feel as if they're empowered to succeed at the organization.
That is so awesome. And just based off everything that you said, it seems like NFP is definitely on the right path, especially in the terms of DEIB. So thank you so much. Thank you all for watching today. Pamela, once again, Pamela Wheeler, Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer from NFP. I enjoyed this interview. And thank you all for watching, and thank you to NFP for all the work that you're doing. So once again, we'll catch you next time on our next Sponsor Spotlight for BIIC. Thank you.
Bye-bye.